couple with a brick, brew and a friend, bleed orange and blue to the bitter end. Come and join us, DNVR. We are DNVR.
Welcome in to the Undefeated Winners Lounge. Yeah, where's Hank? Hank, we need the boat horn. Oh man,
Let's go.
Another win, and a
Cheering happening.
absolutely fantastic win, in my opinion, Zach. A smothering win, a dominant win, a degrading win. And I want to talk with you all about it, but first I want to tell you about our sponsor, MSU Denver. MSUdenver.edu/online is the place to go to scope out all they have to offer, and they've got a lot to offer. So check them out, MSUdenver.edu/online. And what's best about them is students who attend MSU Denver work twice as many hours as students attending any other Colorado institution. So if you're looking to maintain a full-time job while you go to school, there's no better place than MSU Denver Online.
My boy, Ryan, what is up? What a day we started off. Well, you and I started off by waking up super early for early flights. We get here, you rush here, crush the online tailgate. Then
Thank
we
you.
go and crush
Yes.
the in-person tailgate.
I'm calling it the digital tailgate and the physical tailgate.
The physical tailgate. We crush that. Then the Broncos come out and crush the New York Jets. Like you said, soul-crushing the Jets and Zach Wilson. And Ryan, this Denver Broncos defense, elite. That's what we've seen so far. And what did we say? We said we wanted to see it reflect in the score. Ryan, 26-0. That's dominating.
That is absolutely dominating. And Zach, I gotta be honest. Hang on. Let me just. I'm trying to get our tweet out because I accidentally tweeted it with the wrong YouTube link. It's been a day, all right.
Yes,
it's been a.
yes.
I'm working on about 2 hours sleep.
Oh, I got half an hour on you, man.
Give or take a couple minutes here and there. So, where is that YouTube link?
I'll let you find it. And Ryan, we
Okay.
just watched the Las Vegas Raiders move to 3-0, which typically isn't something you want to see. But Ryan, because of that, the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders aren't just tied for first in the AFC West. They're tied for first in the entire AFC. Those are the only two undefeated teams left. And the Broncos play the Raiders in a couple of weeks in Denver. It's not crazy to say that maybe that's an undefeated matchup going into that game. But with the way this Broncos team's playing, have they played three bad opponents? Yeah,
Sure have.
They certainly have. Have they taken care of them? They absolutely have. Ryan, they have beat opponents by double digits. We have some people coming in from the tailgate right now. I see Count Bridgewater walking in right now.
We love to see
so
that.
the vibes are just about to get even better in here. But Ryan, they have beat their opponents 3 straight weeks in a row. They have beat their opponents by double digits 3 straight weeks in a row. All of these things are stuff that you have to go back way into the past in order to find a Broncos team that was this dominant, and we're seeing it right out of the gate this year.
Yeah, there's the old saying, Zach, good teams win, great teams cover. Is there a saying, good quarterbacks win, great quarterbacks cover? Because
That's Teddy.
Teddy Bridgewater, now 3-0 covering the spread with the Denver Broncos. He moves to 38-13-1 in his career covering the spread. That's the best in the entire NFL. The only person who's within him, I think he's a little over 73%, maybe 74, 75% at this point. The only person who's close to him who has a legitimate number of starts under his belt is Tom Brady at 58%.
And Tom's not even close to him.
Not even close. But that's what I was going to say is, it'd be one thing if they barely snuck by the Giants, or they barely snuck by the Jags, or they barely snuck by the Jets. I would maybe be more cautious in the optimism if that was the case. They're just shellacking these teams.
Yep.
In the scoreboard, if you're just scoreboard watching and you just pulled up the last 2 games, you'd say, well, the Giants win was what, only 14, 27-13.
Yep.
And the Jags win was only 10. And, I don't know what you would possibly say about this one. But
Only putting up 26, I guess.
what you have to add to that is Daniel Jones takes a QB draw in on the very last play of the game.
No time left.
No time left. And then there's obviously the kickoff return late in the game for the Jags. So when you talk about this defense being dominant, I'm really saying they're responsible for 14 points through 3 games.
You've got to be kidding me. That is insane, Ryan. It's not like it's they have a clean bill of health and they're doing this with all their guys while they're playing these rookies and teams that are hurt. No, the Broncos have suffered many injuries and unfortunately many on the offensive side of the ball today. But they've suffered a lot. No Bradley Chubb in this game. No Ronald Darby. No Josie Jewell. So what do we see happen, Ryan? And the pass rush, guys step up. Not just Von Miller, who did step up, but you have 4 guys get sacks. You have Alexander Jonson, who really steps up in the place of Josie Jewell. And Pat Surtain, you saw the entire secondary step up. Mr. Zach Wilson, while he has a pretty good name, just weird spelling, I mean, he was just absolutely shut out today, Ryan. Really until the last final drive, he was under right around 100 passing yards today.
That is unreal.
Even with garbage time, he still only gets 160.
Yeah, he was, it kind of reminds me of the last 2 quarterbacks the Broncos have faced. Guys who are solid in like 4 drives throughout the game, right? Where they like make a couple big throws and you're like, oh, that's a big time throw. He hit the corner route, which is something that Trevor Lawrence was able to hit too. Daniel Jones was able to hit a couple of those too.
You see the talent.
That is the weak spot in a lot of the zone coverages that the Broncos love to run. So you got to be able to make that throw, and all of those guys have the talent to make those throws. But no one can do anything consistently against this defense.
Nope.
Not even really like multiple series in a row. And I just mean like, 1st and 10, nice throw. Second, it's just one nice throw. Yep. And then you're punting, or 2 nice throws and then you're punting. So it's really encouraging to see this defense bow their backs.
Yep.
And obviously you bowed your back in a game in which you gave up 0 total points. But Zach, I got to be honest, a little bit surprised. Surprised about the vibes online today. A lot of people.
With the Broncos?
Yes. A lot of people
3-0?
Not happy with this specific performance. The one where the Broncos won by 4 scores in a shutout.
And it wasn't, I mean, it's hard to ever say a 26-point win isn't dominant. But Ryan, let's just go through because it was dominant on every single level. The offense putting up 26 points. What do we say? Score 24 and you'll win, especially with this defense. The offense did what they had to do. Defense did way more than they had to do, so the score checks out. You look at first downs, 22 to 11. You doubled them up. Yardage, you doubled them up. 344 yards of offense. That's not blowing anyone away from the Broncos' perspective, but the defense held the Jets to 162 total yards. Rushing yards, 43 yards on the ground for the Jets. Broncos had 121 passing yards. Jets had a total of 119 passing yards because they had 41 yards in losses off sacks. Broncos, 223 passing yards. Sacks, we can talk about that. The Broncos had 5 sacks. The Jets only had 2 sacks. Everything about this was extremely dominant. Time of possession, too. 36 minutes for the Broncos, 24 for the Jets. Ryan, this was just a beatdown of epic proportions. And you know what? Teddy was really good today, but it's not like he went out and threw 4 touchdowns and you're saying, boy, everything now is on Teddy Bridgewater's shoulders. A lot of the offense is still on Teddy's shoulders, but you can do it with him throwing 0 touchdowns in a game as we saw today.
Right, and I think that's... So to me, I get one thing. Everyone wishes there was more points. Did McManus kick 4 field goals?
He did, yes.
So you would definitely prefer that he didn't have to do that. Obviously, then Javonte Williams fumbles on the 1-yard line.
That would have been 30 points, and I don't think there's any complaining then. Okay, probably some.
There's probably some. But this really could have been a 44-0 type of game.
Yep.
And so I get that. I get those critiques, but you got to have the perspective here of this is a team that in the last 2 years haven't won a single game in September. That just went 3-0 in September and finished September with, like you just described, an absolutely dominant win that could have been better, but that's what second preseason was for. And you got through second preseason with nothing but wins. And did they win all 3 in the actual preseason
did.
too?
They have not lost in 20, well, I think they lost in January, but they haven't lost this year with this team.
Yeah, there you go. So this team is building. They're getting better. They're, they are stacking days on top of each other. They're stacking wins on top of each other. Teddy Bridgewater is stacking performances on top of each other. He's still completing 77% of his passes.
Got to be kidding me.
I mean,
19 of 25 today.
He's on pace to threaten the record for completion percentage in a season. And he's doing it at, a good clip in terms of yards per game. I think he's about 275 a game right now. So there's so much to be excited about with this team, and maybe more than anything is that they're 3-0, and yes, it's flipped to a 17-game schedule, so it changes a little bit, but 75% of teams that go 3-0 make the playoffs.
Yep, so, and you're starting at a great place.
And none of you, me, or Mace had them going 3-0.
No, didn't you and Mace?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we all said, they're probably going to lose one of these. And so, hindsight being 20/20, it's easy to say, these teams all suck, and they do suck. None of them have beat anybody yet. But we didn't think the Broncos were the type of team to step on the throat of teams that suck, and they are.
And on top of that, how many times have we seen the Broncos lose game that they should have won? In fact, nearly this exact same game a couple years ago, playing a terrible, depleted New York Giants team at home, coming off a bye, so the momentum, the energy was there. Momentum, energy there today, and they just totally laid an egg in that game, and then things went downhill. Broncos didn't lay an egg. And good teams, like you said, Ryan, they cover, but good teams also take care of the teams that they need to take care of, and the Broncos absolutely did that today. And Ryan, really quick, just because you brought it up, it's not like Vic Fangio is thrilled with the Broncos going 2 for 5 in the red zone, and this is why I'm okay with it, and I think that they're going to continue to do better, because 40% in the red zone, you know what Vic Fangio said about that after the game? He said, it's concerning, frustrating, and it pisses you off. He was fired up about it.
We'll call better plays down there then. I realize I'm not talking to Vic,
right?
But I thought that they were very, very conservative today in every sense of the word. And so they got down there and they're like, oh, we're going to punch it down their throats. And it's like, why? You don't need to do that. Spread them out, try to run it out of the shotgun. You have a lot of options of ways you can get in there. And then if not, go off the bootleg. I will say they had a good one dialed up for Teddy Bridgewater, and it was an RPO, and he goes, and Noah Fant's coming wide open across the formation. He tries to pull it out of Javonte Williams' gut. And Javonte's like, hell no, man, this is mine. I want this touchdown. And it caused a miscommunication there and really slowed down the development of the play. Noah was wide open. So that was my favorite play they called in the red zone all day. Javonte really thought he was just going to, take it in. He's like, I don't care about your read. Give me this ball. But all in all, I feel like they were really conservative. I was talking to Kale, we're watching the game up here, and I was like, dude, it feels like they're trying to ice the game and there's 30 minutes left.
Right. Yep.
And so I'm not as concerned about those types of things because I think they got in the second half. There's no chance we lose this game. So let's just, play it simple, play it conservative, play it soft.
Well, and that's exactly what they did in the second half, Ryan. They only had they didn't have a single touchdown in the second half, all field goals. In the first half, when they were really throttling, they had 5 possessions, 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and 2 punts. You do that over 2 halves, and you are gold. But again, I'm not worried about that, Ryan. And I think it's crazy that people are worried about a 26-point victory. Now, again, it's not well. And Ryan, we look to next week a little bit with the Baltimore Ravens. It's not like they're coming off extremely impressive performance. They almost lost to the Detroit Lions if it weren't for a record incredible field goal that just took the luckiest bounce in the world from Justin Tucker at the end of that game. They could come in, or they could be easily coming in here with a loss to a bad team. The Broncos didn't have to have a doink kick to take them to be undefeated. They had a dominant victory.
Yeah. They absolutely had a dominant victory. They waltzed all over the Jets. And like I said, I didn't even feel like they were playing in the second half.
Yep.
And it was still so. It was probably the easiest 26-0 victory I've seen in a long time. The first time the Broncos have shut out a team since the Jets at home just a couple years ago. That one was 23-0. Oh, they did shut out the Titans.
In 2019, yeah.
You're right. Oh, wow. This team actually, getting shutouts in the NFL is not easy.
No, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. But still, I mean, the fact that they've done it 3 times in the last 4 years is kind of impressive to me.
Yeah.
We got a couple super chats here, so let's pop to those really quick. Oh, we have lots of super chats.
From Steven.
When did the monitor get so small?
It did shrink. I heard the more wins the Broncos get, the smaller the monitor gets.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so we're going to be in trouble coming up for it. It says, just wish we wouldn't have throttled down the offense. There we go. Ryan, people are going to think we are hammered right now trying to read this.
Bro, you have no idea. The normal-sized monitor was there at one point.
Yeah.
And then
it's like,
I looked back and I felt like I was delusional. Like all of a sudden there was just this tiny little screen in front of me. I was like, I know I'm really sleep deprived, but I don't think my eyesight has gotten this bad over the course of the day.
It's like that shrinking thing in like the animation movies where they shrink something.
So where are you on this? Do you wish they would have kept the offense throttled up? Because when I look back, I say, why would you? I know it would be nice to say, oh, you beat the Jets 40-0, but they didn't need to do anything on offense.
We wanted to see a 30-point game, and we thought that we were going to see the first one this week. But Ryan, if Javonte Williams doesn't fumble it at the goal line, you have a 30 points right there.
Yep.
And so they had a 30-point game, and that from a coach's perspective, they coached a 30-point game on offense. Do you need to beat teams 40-0? No, you don't. Now, do you need to score 40 if the Chiefs are putting up 38? Yes, obviously, but this is just something where...
What did the Chiefs put up today?
Oh, boy, it was... I mean, that first half for them was... or at least the first quarter.
0, right? I think they put up 0 in the first half.
In the whole first half.
Yeah.
Wow. And then how about that? Kansas City Chiefs, seller of the AFC West. Bottom.
Football is a beautiful sport. Obviously, I'm sure they'll get it figured out eventually. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's I get why people wanted to see a 40-0 win. It just like they really came out in that second half as if they said, don't show the Ravens anything else. Just go run the ball. And let's get out of here.
How about on the flip side, though? Because the defense kind of did the opposite. Now, they never throttled down, but they throttled up even a little more in the fourth quarter. Get this. First half, here are the Jets' possessions. Punt, 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 punt. Then end of half. Then third quarter, punt, punt. Fourth quarter, Jets didn't punt once.
Interception.
Turnover on downs.
Okay.
Interception. Turnover on downs. Interception. How about that for an unbelievably dominant fourth quarter?
It's beautiful. I'm going to tweet that.
That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's really dominant. What's crazy is I was pretty frustrated right before the Justin Simmons interception because I felt like they had throttled back.
Yeah.
And then I almost wonder if he felt that too and was like, well, why don't I just go try to make a play here? Mm-hmm. Read Zach Wilson like a book. Way late on the throw, and that's easy pickings. And then Caden Stearns gets one later, which secures my lock of the week from the tailgate. So I'm the only one next week who doesn't have to spin the Wheel of Darkness.
Hey, I love it. Hank's right behind us right now, and he looks thrilled about that.
You excited, Hank? Not excited to spin the Wheel of Darkness.
No. All right, let's get to another one of these super chats.
By the way, you were supposed to buy me breakfast today.
Maybe that's on top of the next week, too.
All right. Coming in from Zach. I'm excited for Baltimore. I'm pretty optimistic that we can be 4-0. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, and then, I mean, you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but let's do it because the Broncos are winning. Steelers looked like absolute garbage today.
Except for Najee Harris, who had 14 catches.
Wow, that's insane. Speaking of an insane stat that involves the number 14, Tom Brady had 14 rushing yards. That led the Buccaneers today.
Oh, wow. Is that a career high for him?
It may be.
That's insane.
That's not something you want.
On a weekly basis, his over-under at DraftKings Sportsbook is set at 0.5.
Yep. So you crushed today. You crushed it, just like the Broncos crushed the spread. 10-point spread, I think, is what it ended at. Or I know it's floating around 10.5. 10.
I got it. Yeah, I actually got it at 9.5 right before kickoff.
Oh, so it went down even further. Wow.
I don't know what the hell people were thinking.
Quick mental math. How many times did they beat the spread by?
Well,
not very quick.
2
Not very
3/4.
Oh, you were going precise. Okay,
Yeah.
impressive. Yeah.
Thank you.
I would have accepted 3.
3 would have been more than that.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Thank you.
All right, we've got 2 coming in from our guy Brian Para. The first one, just a super chat. The second
Thank
one,
you, Brian.
hey, how does this super chat stuff work? RK, take my money, #the Matrix.
Yes,
we
our
go.
guy Brian. Great to hang out with him at the tailgate. He's probably
you,
down in
Brian.
the bar.
We've got Brian,
there
we've got
he
the
is.
count.
We love to see it.
Nice.
That's awesome. Appreciate the super chat from Brian. All right.
Wait, do we want to hit? We still have 3 more.
Let's
hit
keep him
'em.
rolling.
All right. $4.99 coming in from Elliot. How do we get on the podcast? We are downstairs.
We got a lot of people
Well,
down there just tuning in.
What you do is you go over to Best Buy, you buy yourself an audio board, you go to your house, you plug it in, and you start recording your own podcast.
Oh, wow. You do this? That's how.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We could probably, I don't know if anyone's down there to invite some people upstairs, but it's cool with me.
Yeah, definitely. Love the live crowd.
Hank, go get some people and bring them up here.
All right. All right, coming in from Greg S. Feels good, boys, but what are your thoughts on Strenat and Reed filling in some shoes? Also, are we nervous about the Ravens with all our injuries?
It's the one thing we haven't talked about yet that is kind of the one bummer that we're sitting on, but we'll talk about it a little bit later. What was the first part of this?
Thoughts on Strenat and Reed filling in?
Well, I thought Justin Sternad. Gotta get that right. I'm trying to get that right. Justin Sternad was really good today. I thought he played a lot faster. For the first time, I felt like you could see his explosiveness. And that's just one of those things that comes with comfortability, comes with, knowledge of the system. He looked really comfortable to me out there today. Now, I think everyone on the defense felt really comfortable out there today, but I loved seeing him explode on some plays. He almost had a pick, I think, at one point, or almost kind of got underneath the route. So I thought it was all good. Malik Reed is a
Guy's
stud.
a beast.
He's a stud.
He's a beast. In fact, in the fourth quarter, and we all know that he had a sack and the numbers were there, but in the fourth quarter, when he almost got to Zach Wilson, and Zach Wilson, it was when 2 guys were there, and Zach Wilson was just running backwards for his life and ended up throwing it away. Malik Reed was on the ground after, just pounding the ground because he was upset that he didn't get the sack for that one. And I swore it was Von Miller the whole time until I saw the replay, just because of how quickly he got around the edge, just like Von did. That's the type of play that he's playing up to right now. It's incredible. And on Sternad, really quick, Ryan, in that third series that the Jets had, the one at the start of the second quarter, when they actually moved the ball, 12 plays, only 37 yards, which is insane for 12
Is that
plays.
their longest drive?
They had one that was 39, which is
okay.
insane that
That
they
is.
didn't even have a 40-yard drive. But on that drive, the way they were moving the ball down the field was exposing the linebackers in coverage in the middle of the field, short passes, and I thought, is this what they're going to do all game and just keep doing it? Nope. They did it for about 8 plays, and then the drive stalled because the Broncos figured it out. And then in the rest of the game, they figured it out. So I love to see that in-game adjustment by Vic Fangio, but more specifically by Jonson and Sternad.
Yeah. 39 yards is the longest drive from them today.
Insane. You had 3 drives that were negative yards, Ryan. Negative yard drives.
It sounds like my Buffs, sadly.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Don't worry. There were a couple of jokes made at the Buffs' expense today.
Oh,
Coming from Buffs, though. So
Yeah, I mean, we're allowed to do. It's like a younger sibling or whatever. Like we can beat up our younger sibling. You're not allowed to.
Yep.
All right. Apparently the super chats just keep rolling, so we don't have any choice but to keep taking them.
The game was amazing. The tailgate was amazing. So glad I took your advice, Ryan. It was the best way to experience the game. See you fellas at the bar.
Hell yeah.
Let's go.
And that actually segues me nicely into this. So we are going to take a little break here, but the tailgate and the party bus, an absolute
Physical tailgate.
The digital tailgate, the physical tailgate, the party bus. We don't have a digital party bus yet, but maybe that's next on line. An absolute
You just have
hit.
like a Zoom with everyone who's watching the digital tailgate, hanging out in a Zoom together.
Each person is in their car driving. But it was actually an absolute hit.
Yep.
The bar was packed for the digital tailgate, which led to the party bus being just awesome. People were singing along,
Yep.
getting "Let's Go Broncos" chants in there.
Were you guys singing the Broncos theme song?
Oh,
Are you bringing it back?
the fight song? Yeah, no, I forgot the lyrics again. And then the tailgate was so sick. Breck Brews, Sexy Pizza, they hooked it up. And everyone I felt like had a great time. So we're going to do it again next week. And then the next home game after that, and the next one and the next one for the entire rest of the season. So don't miss out. Make sure you get in on your tickets too to the bus.
Yep.
Because that one did sell out this time, and it will sell out again next week for the Ravens game. I guarantee.
And you know what I can guarantee you is the Breck Brews were flowing earlier today. They're flowing right now.
We never gave Henry a number. He's just gonna bring the entire bar up here.
Darren's gonna be up here. The bar's just gonna move up here.
You know, we do have a bar, so Darren can just bring the bar up here.
There we go. And Breck Brews will be flowing everywhere. I mean, at the digital tailgate, at the physical tailgate, right here, right now with our live audience, and it's because they're the best, Ryan. And you know what was really flowing was good company, because great company coupled with good company is fantastic. So you got to check out everything they've got going on at Breck Beer, and of course, here at the DNVR Bar, get your member-sized beer, get a Breck, boom.
Perfect. Finally, Chevalier Mortgage. It's a kind of a weird time to get into the housing market, but Chevalier Mortgage is going to take care of you. Mike in Virginia over at Chevalier. You can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578. They're going to take in all of your financial picture. They're going to make sure you make the right decision for you. Don't get too far in over your head. Don't go too low so you end up with a house that you don't love. They'll get you set up perfectly. So hit them up. Mike in Virginia, that's Michael Chevalier, NMLS number 1931006, and Virginia Chevalier, NMLS number 1910631. All right, we got a crowd in here now. How's everyone feeling?
Let's go! Yeah,
let's go.
There we go.
Love to see
positive vibes.
Yes, great vibes out here. We have some more we have some more super chats, so let's get to those.
Quick one, just from I think Kaylee.
I can't see because of this tiny monitor.
I don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies. And then this is coming in from Steve. This is the first time in years that I watched another AFC West team to see if we would be number one. More of this.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately,
fighting for standings. It's a good place to be.
The Raiders got it done. I don't know why teams keep sending big blitzes at Derek Carr. Like, he tore it up in overtime just like he did against the Ravens. It seems like you would have watched that film and said, like, no more zero blitzes, but that's what the Dolphins do.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they wanted to change who they are, but, like, this is perfect for the Broncos. I mean, I don't think they ever would in the first place.
No.
But it's very clear you shouldn't be sending zero blitzes at Derek Carr. Whatever. I don't think the Raiders are that good anyway.
I'm so curious to see what Raiders team this looks like when the Broncos play them in a couple of weeks. Because how do the Broncos always play the Raiders? They let Derek Carr complete 90% of passes, 88% of passes for 2 yards. And the Raiders offense drives into Broncos territory, then kicks a field goal or punts, and then the Broncos end up winning like 22-21 or something like that. Derek Carr, the only quarterback to have 300-yard passing games in the first 3 weeks this year. So he's completely different than the check-down Derek Carr.
Well, and Henry Ruggs has really opened up that offense. Yep. He's come around. He's high-pointing balls. He's making plays. They're definitely more dangerous than they have been.
Yeah.
But I don't think teams are playing them the right way. I think they're going to figure it out here in a second.
Yeah.
All right.
I think
very
so too.
last one coming in from our guy Zachary.
It won't be the very last one.
Can you get a party plane?
Can you get DNVR party plane. I actually have talked to someone who does like
party planes?
Super high luxury like tailgate travel experiences, including private jets.
Were you on a party plane this morning?
Whatever the opposite of a party plane is what I was on.
A
this
snoozer.
Morning. Yes,
I was on one of those.
Absolutely. All right, let's jump into our grade segment here, Zach. Let's just throw a couple names back and forth and give out a grade. I'll start with you. With the most important player on the field, Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy he didn't blow you away with the 130 passer rating today. And we said he was going to come down from that. But if he settles
120?
If he settles at 104.9, which is what he had today, you will take it in a heartbeat. Ryan, he did a great job of just commanding the offense. And I know that people weren't satisfied with not finishing in the red zone, but for me, I still have to go with an A for Teddy. And just with the red zone struggles, I'll go A minus here. But I mean,
those weren't really his struggles.
No, but still, you don't want to go 40%.
Right.
And as the quarterback, you can't do that. But 19 of 25, over 200 yards, no interceptions, although he had his first interception ball today, the one to KJ Hamler, which we'll talk about in a second. But for 3 games, to have 1 interception ball, And it wasn't even picked? Pretty good.
I honestly thought it should have been
Pretty
caught.
incredible.
Obviously extenuating circumstances for KJ, but it wasn't that. It was a bad decision. It wasn't that bad of a throw, I thought.
Yeah. It was bad, I thought.
It's bad decision, good throw is my official call.
Okay.
Can you think of a throw that he missed in the red zone though? I just don't think it was really out there. They weren't really giving him the opportunity to do so.
No, and the run game really was what let them down.
Yeah, exactly. And running in the red zone is a really difficult thing. The best teams can do it. It's really the difference between like the teams who are really good in the red zone and the teams who aren't. The crazy thing is I don't know if these Broncos have to be great in the red zone. Their defense is not going to let anyone else be great in the red zone.
Yeah, and we know the Jets certainly weren't successful in the red zone because Ryan, they didn't get to the red zone. They didn't. They didn't enter once.
Yeah, that's
The Jets were 4 of 13 on third down, 0 of 2 on fourth down. No trips to the red zone. No
you could say they were perfect in the red zone.
Yeah, 0%. I don't know. Count. Is 0% good in the red zone? Yeah.
Well, that's true. They were undefeated in the red zone.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't lose. You're right.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I got to go A as well.
Okay.
I just think it was he's so clean. And then you hit Tim Patrick twice deep up the sideline. He's just the way that he manipulates the pocket. There was one throw early in the game where, I think it was Cortland who flashes open, but he's got the corner coming down on him. And Teddy just like flips his feet to the right, kind of out like he's going to check it down.
Yeah.
Instantly freezes that corner and then just slings it in there to Cortland. And it's just like, man, these are the little nuances, not to bring Drew into this, but like these are the little nuances that win Teddy the job that just you would, with all due respect, you would never see Drew do something like that.
And some of the things that you would expect only to see from Drew, like the rolling to the right, keep rolling, and then when he's at the sideline, he's got to make a decision. He throws it across his body, and that was something Teddy joked about after last week's game. He said, I'm going to tell people not to do that, but then he does it again because it's he knows that if I see a guy wide open, I can make that throw, and he did it again today. Those are the things that we thought we weren't going to get with Teddy, and he's doing those, Ryan. He's manipulating the pocket extremely well, and then when he gets out on the move, he's making plays.
I don't want to kill the vibe here, but that play just reminded me of something that bothered me in the game, so I'll just ask you another grade. Noah Fant.
He's not as dominant as you'd want to see right now at all.
Yeah, and he had a couple penalties. And I saw 2 like low effort plays from him that bothered me. That play that you're talking about where Teddy threw it across, he had given up on that play. He was just standing there.
Yeah.
And he was like shocked that the ball hit him right in the hands. And then on the fumble that Javonte had, I mean, he literally had no interest in being a part of that play as it was going down the sideline. He just started walking. And that bothered me, especially when he had multiple penalties in the game. Right. Like, you should be thinking, like, I have a lot to make up for. So I don't know if he was just in his head, he wanted more targets, what it was. But I didn't like the game. I got to go, like, C-.
And I'll agree with you there because it was disappointing. Now, how much do you think getting only 3 targets, only 2 catches for 15 yards plays into that? And if it does play into a lot, is that a concern?
It's a big problem. I hope it has nothing to do with it because that's not the way this team should operate. I mean, look at the way that Teddy Bridgewater spreads the ball around. 8 different guys catch the ball today, and you go and look at just the target numbers. So you go I guess they don't have targets here on the ESPN app.
I got it. What do you want?
Just read them off for me.
5 targets to Tim Patrick. Him and Cortland led the team of 5. And really quick, what I loved about both of those guys, they were both targeted 10 total times combined. 10 catches. A perfect. And this game, there's no question. Those were the 1 and 2 in this game.
Absolutely.
And you're perfect going to those guys. That is a formula for success, big time. Javonte Williams, 4 targets. KJ Hamler, 3 targets. Melvin Gordon, 2. Noah Fant, 3. Albert Okwuegbunam, 1. Deontay Spencer, 1.
So it's just across the board, like, very even. No one's getting 10 targets out there right now. So Noah has to just realize, like, some days the game plan doesn't go towards you. Your team wins 26-0, you better not be pouting about 3 targets. I don't know if that's what happened, but again, I just saw like a little bit of a pattern throughout the game that I didn't love.
Yeah, I agree. Something I did love, though, Tim Patrick. This guy, A+, and because of that, he is our DraftKings Sportsbook king of the game because Ryan, not only a perfect 5 for 5 for 98 yards, he averaged over 19 yards per catch, 19.6 to be exact, and had the 2 biggest catches, which were just the degrees of difficulty on both of those. Insane. It really is. We said this about Cortland, especially you were banging on this drum 2 years ago. Just throw it up to Cortland. He makes 50-50 balls, 80-20. Tim Patrick now is making those like 100%, 100 to 0.
Yeah, it actually is crazy. And he tracks the ball as good as anyone. A lot of times where those deep balls go wrong is just the receiver doesn't know when to jump, when to go. He's amazing at it. And it's like next week when you play the Ravens, I want 4 to 6 of those, at least.
Yep.
I can do it combined. I'd be fine with 4 to 6 each.
Yes.
Just you get out there. You have single coverage on the outside.
Yep.
Give one of those guys a chance. You saw Cortland Sutton draw the pass interference in the end zone.
Yep.
The defender has to make a choice. Am I going to interfere or am I going to give up a touchdown?
Yep.
So make them make that choice over and over and over again.
So I'm going A+.
I don't know. What could you possibly mark him down for?
The only thing you could do is just give him king of the game.
Yeah, and that's what we
cherry
did.
on top.
That's A++. All right, let's go to the other side of the ball. Von Miller.
Oh, A. Vaughn is fantastic. I mean, he has a sack in every single game right now. 4 sacks, on pace for 23 sacks this season, which obviously is absolutely absurd. And Ryan, to me, there's no questions that Von Miller is officially back, and that is huge for this defense. Because look, if you have Von Miller playing elite like he is right now, you don't need Bradley Chubb. No, you don't need him. Do you want him? Yes, you want him. But look what Von does. He opens up everyone else across your line, linebackers across from you. Alexander Jonson, you open him up when you bring the pressure. And so Von is back, and that is huge.
Yeah, I agree with you again there. Pat Surtain.
Oh, good. I mean, sticky. I would go in A-. No big plays. Coverage, he didn't have a blown coverage ever. He was always right there. The very first play of the game was a completed pass to him, but he was right there. He's looking really good. I
think you're never. I shouldn't say never. I'll touch wood. You're almost never going to see that him have a busted coverage, get burned. He's always right there with this guy. I think he had 2 PBUs in this game, at least 1 for sure. So this is encouraging stuff. I'll go B+ just because he gave up a couple catches, but I'm being a harsh critic.
And you know what I love? He led the team in tackles. 5 tackles for the rookie.
Tied with Alexander Jonson.
Yep, exactly. Both of those guys. And speaking of Alexander Jonson, A+?
2 sacks. I mean, you got to really screw up to blow
led
the
team in tackles. 2 tackles for loss.
It's hard to go anyone on the defense. How does anyone on the defense not get an A? Well, I guess I just gave Pat Surtain a B+ just because I felt like it. But this team was so dominant today that Draymond Jones. He's like in the back. They ran a toss play. He was in the backfield before the running back caught the ball. It's insane.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Yeah, Shelby gets a sack.
Yep, Malik. You just go down pretty much everyone. I mean, it was Oprah out there. Just Zach Wilson handing out sacks to everyone.
Sack Zach.
Yes, exactly. He's generous.
Yeah, he was. And like I said, he kept me from the wheel of darkness next week.
Good.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Speaking of darkness, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon.
Ooh, okay, so Javonte, man, he might end up getting the lowest grade of anyone on the team.
That's what turnovers do.
Right, exactly. It's the one person to turn it over. And the numbers, his worst as well. 12 carries for 29 yards. He does get the touchdown, first of his career. You love to see that.
Yeah.
But 2.4 yards per carry and a fumble. I don't know. It's a D?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a failing performance.
Yeah.
And then Melvin, on the other hand, didn't light it up, but was the leading rusher. 18 carries, 61 yards, 3.4 yards per carry. Did also have a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a solid B. I'd like to see more than 3.4 yards per carry. My favorite play from Melvin all day is he breaks one. I think it ended up being his biggest run of the day, and he gets snuck up on by a defensive back who goes in for the peanut punch, and he held onto the ball. Because as soon as I saw that coming, I was like, oh, God, here we go. But he protected the ball, and, again, that's the biggest difference between him and Javonte today.
My favorite, how about that whoop that he had, a Teddy when he threw it to him, and in the press box. There's no cheering or anything, but there was when Teddy threw that, and you saw the defender running down, and you're like, "Is this gonna be a pick six? Is he gonna kill him right when he catches it?" There was an audible gasp. And speaking of Melvin and gasps, but then he caught that, juked him, ran for 21 yards after that. But the loudest I've ever heard the press box, and I'm sure it was loud here as well, when Melvin just got destroyed on the goal line by C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. That was a hit.
It was one of those ones where it's so shocking because he had just kind of squeaked out, and it looked like he was going to score, and then he's just getting blasted like 3 yards back the other way.
Yep. And then, of course, the next play they give it to Javonte, and Melvin's like, what the heck? I have to get blasted, and then he gets the touchdown?
Well, he probably needed a second to gather his thoughts.
Yeah. And then they ran the same play with Melvin later, which is where Melvin got the touchdown.
Yes.
And good for Melvin because he saw, I don't think it was actually CJ coming down this time, crashing on him, but there's another linebacker crashing just as hard on him, and then he kind of stopped, let that linebacker run past him, then went in for the touchdown.
So in a second, we're going to take some questions. So if you guys want to get some more questions into the chat, we will get to those in a little bit. We do have to talk. Well, I guess we'll start here because there's a term being thrown around with Teddy that you almost just touched on a little bit that I want to ask you about that will lead into our injuries discussion here. A couple people using the term hospital ball for Teddy, and a couple people blaming him for the Judy injury and the Hamler injury right now.
I don't get the Judy one.
Okay.
I mean, the Hamler one I said was a very bad throw. I mean, bad decision. I personally think bad throw as well. Every quarterback, it's not like we're seeing these left and right from Teddy. What, we saw 2 today? I didn't think that one to Jerry was on him at all.
Well, I don't think the one to Hamler is either. It's not like KJ got hurt because of a big hit.
Right.
He got
after the throw.
Yeah,
right.
When I think hospital ball, I think closer to what you talked about with that throw to Melvin in the flat, but just a little later, right?
Right.
Where you're throwing it up there and the guy's just getting destroyed, or you're late coming across the middle and a safety comes down and blows up your receiver. These are just tough throws that shouldn't probably be thrown. And although, Jerry, that was a catch, wasn't it? It ended up being a catch. So that one's different. The one to Hamler, he just shouldn't have thrown it. But still, to me, is not like he didn't hang him out to dry. KJ didn't get blown up by any means. Two guys go for the ball and just collide, and KJ comes down awkwardly.
Wasn't there another one? Was it to Sutton where it was it was a kind of like a hospital ball, but then he ended up being okay?
Well, he threw to Cortland in between 3 different dudes, and then Cortland almost had what probably would have been on highlight reels forever because he stopped and almost caused a 3-car crash and just squirted out for a touchdown.
Yep.
That would have been epic if he was able to pull it off, but they grabbed his leg and got him down.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the one. I think that's the one. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep.
So yeah, I think he was fine.
I'm not concerned about it. Are you?
No. But are you concerned about these injuries starting to stack up?
Yeah. I mean, it's almost just as bad as last year, Ryan. And when you look at this game, really concerning. When you take a look at the bigger picture, very concerning. But guys are stepping up. Except, Ryan, the interior of the offensive line, probably the weakest part of this team so far in these first 3 games. You take a big blow to both of those guys on the interior, Graham Glasgow and Dalton Reisner, both out. We did not get an update from Vic. He didn't know. They said they're going to go more imaging, including Hamler as well. But with just how quickly they ruled these guys out makes me nervous. And we're comfortable with Netani Muti stepping in, right? Are we thrilled over the moon about him coming in after last week? I think I stepped back a little bit. I mean, I guess there's a reason he's a backup now, but I'm comfortable with him being in there. But then you put Quinn Meinerson with still a young center to positions that were already struggling. It's a concern. That's the biggest concern for me. Yeah,
the offensive line is just where you don't want to suffer this because that's something that I think has been really good for Teddy so far in this young season.
Yeah.
They haven't been as great about opening up holes for the run game, but again, you don't want to have to go to backups because you don't expect it to get better, although Moody, you could make the argument, is probably a better run blocker than Glasgow.
Oh, did you see before Graham got hurt, when I think it was the first series or second series, when Quentin Williams, just ran him over, blew him up. That was bad.
Yeah, it was bad. But again, I think Teddy trusts that offensive line.
Yeah.
And it's one of the more impressive things I've seen from him because he's just willing to stand in there and say, I have more time than anyone else thinks I do.
Mm-hmm.
you don't want that thing to start to fall apart. But like on the other side, someone tweeting at me like, well, we have no receivers anymore. I'm like,
Did you see what Tim did?
Did you miss out on Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick? And the Broncos running more 3 tight end sets than anyone in the NFL right now.
Yep.
So they have options here. They have more weapons to go to. You really cross your fingers for KJ that it's not another injury just because they're starting to stack up on him too.
One thing that you're not going to really do is start playing Deontay Spencer at wide receiver. And you did see Kendall Hinton play some, although he didn't get a target today. But those are the guys where you're saying, okay, that is testing our depth a little too much in terms of having them out there all the time. You're not just, because Deontay Spencer's a similar type of player in terms of just a fast speed guy, you're not just going to put him in there for KJ Hamler. No, instead you're going to be doing the 2-3 tight end sets, and something that the Broncos led the league in coming today and then also dominated today, time of possession, and that's not from just spreading the ball out this whole time. It's from running, so you're going to see a lot more 2-3 tight ends.
All right, before we move on, I want to give a shout-out to DraftKings Sportsbook. Zach, this morning was such a whirlwind, I didn't have time to put in very many bets. I just put in 2 big ones. Cardinals to cover, Broncos to cover.
Boom.
2 for 2, and now I have Packers money line to finish the night.
Kid you not, that's what I wanted to get in on. So I just pulled up DraftKings Sportsbook to see what it's at because I totally forgot.
Well, if you want to get in on DraftKings Sportsbook, use the code DNVR when you sign up. You can get $150 in free bets just for placing a $1 bet on any NFL game. It's a great deal, and they'll give you those free bets in $25 increments, so you can kind of just test out different things that you might like. Another step in the right direction for my Teddy Bridgewater for MVP bet today. But you
want some touchdowns.
You do, yeah. You do need some more touchdowns. Maybe not a step in the right direction. We'll see if the odds change tomorrow. But DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to get in on any of this stuff. So head over there and use the code DNVR. Of course, you must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. The deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough, and restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
Ryan, you and I and most people rely on coffee to get us through the day. How much do you rely on coffee when you get 2 and 2.5 hours of sleep like you and I did?
Yeah, I think I'm into the 70-ounce range today.
Oh, that's healthy.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Kids, don't try that at home. But if you want to try that at home, check out Strava Craft Coffee because you're going to be spending a lot of money at that point drinking so much coffee.
True.
But if you use the code DNVR25, you'll get 25% off the delicious, smooth CBD coffee over at Strava Craft Coffee. And the great thing about it, not only does the CBD help relieve aches, pains, headaches, migraines, anything in your body it can help relieve, but it can also relieve the coffee jitters for some. So that if you need to just be sipping coffee all day long, you can do it without getting the coffee jitters. So make sure to check them out over at Strava Craft Coffee. Use the code DNVR25 when you for your first purchase to get 25% off. Then subscribe, and you'll get 20% off every single purchase after that.
Also, check out our friends over at Hassel Cattle Company. It's so good that we brought it into the DNVR bar. Sure, some people here are going to have some DNVR Bar burgers after this. That is Hassel Cattle Company Wagyu beef. It's the absolute best. It's delicious. It's affordable. It's everything you could look for. And you can get 10% off when you use the code DNVR10 at checkout. So use the code DNVR10, get your 10% off, and all orders over $200, which you will get a lot for $200, but you're probably going to want it all, free shipping. So they'll ship it right to your door. It comes in like a cool little package that keeps it frozen. It's absolutely lives up to the hype.
Speaking of cool little packages, gotta tell you about our friends over at Manscaped.
No, you don't. But that was good. It would have been good.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to some questions.
That wasn't a shot at you, Ryan. Wasn't talking about cool
thank you. I'm glad. Yeah. I'm glad. We got some questions here, Kale.
Got some super chats to hit first.
Go.
Oh, more super chats. Let's go.
Don't underestimate the Raiders. They have a great offense this season from the Blinds Wordsman DS.
I think, I agree with that.
They've got great quarterback play right now. And Ryan, if that maintains, then they're going to continue this at least to make the playoffs.
Did you get in on Packers yet?
I was waiting for San Francisco to score, and it didn't happen.
Because
I didn't realize it until Green Bay was already up 3-0. Mm-hmm. Did you get them at 3?
I got him at plus 155 on the money line.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
I know.
All right.
It's great.
And for me to say that, Ryan, you know that's a big thing.
I agree.
Green Bay.
I agree.
Optimistic but loving the wins and energy from I Bomb Atomically Stew Meat.
There we go.
Optimistic, yeah. I mean, everything is good there.
I don't know why there was a but. Yeah. maybe they forgot cautious.
Optimistic and loving it in the energy.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, coming in from Elliot Baker. So many people up here right now watching you guys. Your work under pressure is admirable. I'm the guy cosplaying as Judy.
Oh, there we go. That's awesome. Now that I wasn't even thinking about it, now I have to think about it. I might crumble under the pressure.
Yeah, you starting to sweat now, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might just be
Is it
too
the
much
lights
coffee.
now, or is it the coffee?
It's the caffeine sweats.
Oh,
And
boy.
last-
If you want the meat sweats, Hasselcat
There you go.
Last super chat we have Javonte, thumbs up or thumbs down. Also, see you in the Super Bowl again, RK.
Oh.
There we go. I thumbs down today.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's this is what you expect from rookies, isn't it,
Yep.
Zach? They're gonna have 2 good games, 1 bad one, 3 great plays, 1 bad one. It just happens. We didn't even talk about when we were giving out the grade the fact that he stole a touchdown away from the Broncos today. So it was I guess 2.
Yeah.
Not his best.
Not a good. But Ryan, this is also why people see. Okay, here's what Javonte Williams does, and it was our friend Nick Griffith who pointed this out. He passes the eye test on every single run, even if it goes for 1 yard, because he makes a guy miss, or he carries, or he gets taken to the ground and his legs are still
Falls
moving.
forward,
He passes the eye test on every single play, and that's why people have really got behind him. But it's not like the stats are crazy for him right now. But that's why he's getting half the reps, is because the talent is there and he needs those reps. But also you see games like today, Ryan, and that's why they're not just giving the game in the running back room to Javonte right now. It's because he's still a rookie. And to have Melvin there to balance him out is key. Now, the Broncos probably still win if they don't have Melvin's contributions today, the 61 yards and a touchdown, just because the Jets are that bad. But if you take Melvin Gordon out, and Javonte has this type of game next week against the Ravens, that could absolutely be the difference between a win and a loss. So I know a lot of people want to just see it be 80% Javonte. This is a reason why it's going to be 50-50, probably late into the season.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it, I thought, in terms of this could be a huge swing game for this quote-unquote competition, which I don't really think it is. Clearly today, Javonte took a big step back and reminded us that he is a rookie, and it's not going to always come easy for him.
And how about that? Demaria Crockett. You got to see him get in the game because the Broncos were up so big. You see Justin...
Why not Drew Lock?
Oh, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna go down that route. They don't want to turn it into Count Locula again. That's why.
There you go.
And you see Justin Simmons' snap streak broken today.
How many-
Because they were up. He was up to like 3,500 straight snaps. Led the league.
That's insane.
Led the league. And instead of staying in there with backups, he said, I'm happy the streak is over so that I can focus on the team and focus on winning instead of this silly little streak.
What's something you've done 3,500 times?
This podcast.
Honestly, probably pretty close. Probably pretty close. All right, what else we got, Kale?
Couple of good questions coming in. How about using Fant, Albert / I think he meant to say Salbert here.
Did you say Sauerbrunn?
Yeah.
Love
Combo,
that. What a
bit-
throwback.
A bit more with the wide receiver injuries.
Absolutely.
They're already doing it more than anyone.
And it's what you have to do. You
Yep.
have to do even more of it now moving forward. And you hope that it's Noah Fant stepping up as well.
Salbert seems like way better than just like a throw-in free agent signing for nothing.
Yeah. And I'm surprised he's just had very little action in these games.
He's basically used on like one thing, and it's boot throws.
Yeah.
And he's really good on them.
Yep.
The Jags let him go to sign Tim Tebow. Let's just please
that's true.
throw that back out there.
Yeah, well, I don't even know what to say about that.
Another tight end question. Do you think Beck being activated has anything to do with Fant? Just throwing that out there.
Speaking of Beck, well, I'll take this back to the question really quick. Do you think Beck being active has anything to do with Fant?
No.
No, not at all. But Andrew Beck, he needs to be active every
Yeah.
game. He was a beast, especially in the first half. 2 key blocks.
Yep, Javonte Williams can thank him for that touchdown.
Yes, he can.
Beautiful block.
Yeah.
That's why you have a fullback out there, even though he's not really a fullback.
Yeah, exactly. But he was, you could do 4 tight end packages. And how about the creativity, especially early in the game, by Pat Shurmur on a couple of those plays where you have Noah Fant kind of motion in to be that fullback, but you're in pistol or you're in shotgun, and then he's kind of the pistol guy. I love the creativity at first.
I completely agree.
Although, what was also they did this a couple of times where they took a receiver ran him across, put him in motion, and then they had the receiver do like a fake snap catch or something, but the receiver was already like 5 yards past the center. I'm going, who is this fooling right now?
Right. Yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Deontay had an especially egregious one where he didn't even like put his hands, or like he didn't even like pretend to get it until he was outside of the tackle box.
Ball hadn't even snapped still.
I honestly think what happens is Teddy's supposed to snap that like right.
Yeah.
But he's getting a look from the defense, and as soon as he sees that, he was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to snap it right now.
Right.
Let me adjust to this look.
Right. Yeah, I hope that's what it was, 'cause that's not how you run those.
No, it's definitely not. Maybe Sean McVay can give them some tutorials.
Sean McVay looked good today.
All right.
Yes, he did.
Next one coming in from Larry A. How do we beat the Ravens next week?
We'll have plenty to talk about this week when it comes to beating the Ravens. And honestly, moving forward, this was kind of like Chapter 1 of the season. We've been talking about these 3 games as a cluster for so long, and I know it's not quite a quarter of the season like it used to be with the first 4. It's kind of a different setup now, but this was the first cluster. I think as we move on into the rest of this week, we'll talk a lot about the Ravens, of course, but really just about the next cluster of 3, which is way different. Ravens, Steelers, Raiders. It's going to present a whole new challenge, so we'll talk all about that throughout the week. Is there anything else we need to get to here, Kale? All right, I think that is going to wrap it up for us. One last shout-out to our presenting sponsor, MSU Denver Online. msudenver.edu/online is where you can go to see all they have to offer. They are awesome, just like the Denver Broncos right now.
Yes.
Which is
undefeated in September.
Undefeated in September. That's all you can ask for.
Yep.
The vibes are immaculate, I would say.
They are double-digit point wins, 3 straight games.
All right, stick with us the rest of this week. Like I said, we'll get into the Ravens and all of the rest of the schedule. But we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate everyone who came up here and watched.
You.
And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.